Hi, I'm Giselle Escobedo, and I'm currently a Chief Petty Officer in the United States Naval Sea Cadet Corps.
Okay. And as a chief petty officer, what is it that you do? Like, what are your duties?
So there's a lot of duties. We get a lot of tasks on us at us, especially by officers. So our main task is delegating those duties to the people below us. My past training, I had an ACC, Assistant Company Commander. I was a company commander, and my duty was whatever task the officer gave me, I had to delegate those to her, which can be a little hard, especially with I'm used to just carrying out those orders because for me, it's easier just to, do whatever they ask me instead of telling other people to.
And how long since you joined the Navy, right?
The United States Naval Sea Cadets, yes.
How long after you joined the Navy did you become chief petty officer?
So I've been in the program for 5 years. It's intense in the aspect that there's a lot of steps. So you need time and rate, time and grade, which is around 6 months for each time you rank up. So from seaman, after you get to petty officer third class, you have to rate 6 months until you reach PO2, then PO1, and then at petty officer first class, you have to go through essentially like a mock job fair. It's called the chief boards where you have three chiefs and two officers and they ask you a bunch of questions, knowledge, scenarios, and they determine if you pass or fail, which will determine if you become chief or not.
Okay.
So I had to do that and it was a little nerve-wracking at first, but at the end of the day I know my stuff, so that's all that mattered.
Okay. Now, this might be part of the confusion, but I think your grandmother mentioned that you work with like high school kids, right?
I do
Young
work.
recruits.
Yes, so I work with the program is from those ages 10 to 13, which are Navy League cadets, and then once you become 13, you lead up to actually Sea Cadet, and Sea Cadet is from ages 13 to 18. So I work with all ages.
Oh, okay.
So.
And recently you were in.
So I was in Arkansas. I staffed the Master at Arms training, a law enforcement training. I was the command chief for it. So I was the highest position, so I had to teach a lot of people underneath me. And we learned a lot about Master at Arms. One of my favorite events was we had to learn how to navigate a riot. We did actually have a riot. I was the company commander for that as well, so I was the one giving all the commands, all the formations. I had to find the positions for each people and where they belonged. So it was intense, but at the end it was fun. So.
Okay. Um. When did you start like in high school like ROTC stuff or anything like that? Or?
No, I wish I got the chance, but after hearing the how air, I don't hate on AFJRTC, but I think that it is a very different aspect in if you compare it to Sea Cadets. And I have friends who are currently in there, and they, have some ifs about it. But I mean, I like it, especially if AFJROTC because I was interested in the Air Force. But personally, Sea Cadets is better for me, so glad I stuck with that program.
At what age did you join Sea Cadets?
I joined at age 13.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, I've been in it for 5 years, so.
And how did you juggle school and doing Sea Cadets?
So personally for me, it was easy because unless it was kind of hard for training wise because they were always in the summer, so I couldn't really hang out with friends. But we drill. My home unit, we drill in Martinez. We used to drill in Antioch. But it's about twice a month. I would say the most difficult part of it is if there's nights that I need to do schoolwork and we had to do a evening color guard. That's where it kind of be a little bit okay. Well, I have to sacrifice one or the other, but I mean I got through it. So.
And I'm guessing you're 18 now.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So are you now in the Navy full time completely?
No. So I decided that I'm going to go and reach my college degree. I plan to be a law enforcement officer, which is I'm also a Brentwood Police Explorer. So that's my goal. So I plan to reach my bachelor's in administration of justice, and then I will be enlisting as an SRT in the Coast Guard.
Okay. Where do you plan on going to school?
Honestly, I want to get the school side of knowledge before I actually get the experience of knowledge, just so I have some, pre-education.
Okay. What aspects of, being a chief petty officer, I'm getting the title correct, I'm sorry if I'm
No,
blank.
you're good.
What aspects of it do you like and what are the most difficult?
I would say for a chief, in the aspect, what I do like about it is the fact that you do get more respect because, obviously all the chiefs have earned, most of the chiefs have earned where they need to be. Like, I've earned my title. I worked for 5 years. I have over 450 hours of community service. I have 3 medals and I have a lot of ribbons too to show for it, to show my hard work. So in that aspect, I do gain a lot of respect. Um, but, and it's just easier for me to back then, before I attended like Petty Officer Leadership Academy, I was not confident. I had the lowest self-esteem. I did not know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to be a leader. I didn't know how to do anything. But after that training, everything kind of clicked for me, and it was immediately like I had this new profound confidence, and I was able to find a way to build what it means to be a leader. And you know, I've gained a sense of open-mindedness as well. I love constructive criticism, and being a chief has helped me with that as well. Um, and what I don't like about it is that when I struggle a lot with people underneath me not following my orders, they kind of try to override it, and a lot of people think that, okay, well, even if you're chief, what I think is right. So in that aspect, I struggled a lot with it, which made it hard a lot of days. But at the end of the day, I realized I'm here for a reason. Um, if they're doing that, then I just need to change something about me so that it clicks for them. But I mean, I still enjoy it. So
Is that how you deal with it? Just trying to explain to them in a different manner?
yeah, but one thing too is you being a chief, you get a lot of respect from not just the cadets but the officers. I have a lot of friends, like officer friends that I'm close with, so I ask them for guidance of, hey, if person A isn't following my orders, what's the best approach to that? I was always taught by my commanding officer to kind of be strict with them, but I realized about my 4th year, and I realized that like that's not the best way to handle things. Being mean and strict people and assertive isn't always the best effective strategy. So I try to take the more motivational, calm approach, because when they see you're calm, then most 10 times out of 10 they're calm as well, and it helps de-escalate things, and they see it truly from your perspective.
Your grandmother sent me a video of you doing a speech. I think it had something to do with like photography or something. Was that one of the awards or medals you got?
So I know, but I did staff a photojournalism training. I originally staffed Navy League orientation, which is essentially a boot camp for those who are ages 10 to 13. But I switched over to staff photojournalism because I love photography. It's always been one of my biggest hobbies. But regarding my medals, as I have 3. So I have the Daughters of the American Revolution Medal, which is for my outstanding community service, and also I guess somewhat of my command presence to how I carry myself. I have the Navy League Sea Cadet of the Year award, which I got in, I believe, either 2022 or 2023, which I got for having achieved being the most I'm blinking, but for having the most growth in my program. And then I recently got the VFW medal, which is the Veterans of Foreign Wars, it's complicated in the aspect I still can't explain it, but it's one of the rarest medals you can get as a cadet. So I'm very proud of all those medals that I got.
You know how rare it may be? Like, I don't know.
So for example, ribbons can also tie into medals. All the medals have designated ribbons with them. With the academic one, it's kind of it's a more common one because all you need is A's and B's, and most people have those. Or the marksmanship ribbon, which is if you qualify in either pistol or rifle. I have that one. I had the expert pertinence because I qualified to be an expert shooter in rifle. Those are examples of the more common ribbons. But the VFW, I've only seen about 2 people out of my 3 trainings that I staffed wearing them, so it's a pretty rare one.
Okay. When you were 13 and you joined the Sea Cadets, was that did you have the same plan where you wanted to join law enforcement?
No. So I always, ever since I was 8, I knew I wanted to be a police officer, but I didn't know how I was going to get there, and Sea Cadets helped me formulate that plan and make a more detailed plan. If I wasn't in Sea Cadets, I honestly don't think my plan would be as detailed as it is now. I gained a lot of different perspectives from officers on, okay, because I always knew that I loved the military structure, I loved the military aspect of it, and I know that when I age out of Sea Cadets, I knew that I would still want to join the military, but I just had a hard time finding which one was the right branch for me. So being friends with officers and getting their perspectives helped me cancel out which branch doesn't really fit what I want to do. And at the end of the day, the Coast Guard was the best fit for me. So.
Okay. Um, what is it that you want to do specifically in law enforcement? Just like an officer, or is there like a detective or something that you're really?
So, I want to start out as a local law enforcement officer, and then my ultimate goal is to be on SWAT. SWAT is really interesting. Being a Brentwood Police Explorer, I'm friends with a lot of the officers there, so I see a lot of their perspectives. I've gained knowledge about SWAT. When I staffed my MAA training, I worked with the Saline County SWAT team. We did room clearing exercises, and it just interests me a lot. And it's just something I know that I want to do, and I hopefully will do it.
A lot of the SWAT guys have like military background. Did that also kind of influence your decision to join Sea Cadets?
Well, no, I would say what influenced my decision to join Sea Cadets was, so when I was 13, I'm extremely close with my neighbors. So close that their dad, I consider, he's my grandpa. He's helped me through a lot of times. He was the one that actually reached out to my dad and said, "Hey, I think the Sea Cadet program would be amazing for your daughter. I think she would excel in it." At first, I didn't want to join because, again, I had no confidence. I thought everybody would judge me. I thought everybody would think that, like, "Hey, who's this newbie? She doesn't belong here." But at the end of the day, you realize that, hey, this is actually really fun. You learn a lot from it, and that's what made me stay.
Okay. Are there other Chief Petty Officers that you know in the Sea Cadets that are going to continue on their careers, or maybe have talked to you about continuing your career
Yes.
within the Navy? Or
So one of my really close friends, he, Chief Petty Officer Gary Bonsangu, I worked really close with him. I staffed 3 trainings with him. He is currently enlisting in the Navy. So I don't know what position, but I know that it's something he always wanted to do, and I'm really happy for him.
But do they like try to tell you like maybe you should just continue on with a military career for a little bit or anything?
I mean,
like that?
I've dealt with that before, but not really from chiefs. More of like cadets that are saying, "Okay, well then, what's the point of being a law enforcement officer if you're doing the Sea Cadets?" But then I just tell them that Sea Cadets, just because you're in Sea Cadets doesn't mean you want to be in the military. You don't have to want to be in the military. Again, it helps you evolve your life skills. And I tell them that, and they're like, "Oh, you're right."
What are some of the highlights of your whole Sea Cadet, the 5 years that you've been in Sea Cadets?
I would say some of my highlights the majority of my highlights are really just the ribbons, medals, and the challenge coins I have. I currently have 16 ribbons, like I said, 3 medals, and 8 challenge coins. And every time I see my ribbon rack, I just look at it and I'm like, wow, I've accomplished so much for my age. I know there's a lot of Sea Cadets, but especially in like Brentwood specifically, not many people do this, which makes it, just so much better. And I just have a sense of pride in myself as well. But I mean, in that aspect too, my dad talks about it a lot. He talks about what I've done, as well as my grandma. And my mom too. They've all talked about it. And my grandma a couple times, she's even said, "Hey, we should get the Sea Cadet discount." And I always tell her, no, I don't want to do that, because for me, Sea Cadets, a lot of people use Sea Cadets to build their ego, but for me, I don't like to, because it's honestly wrong. I like to be humble about it, because even though what I'm doing is amazing and not a lot of people do this, it's something I chose to do, so yeah, I use my knowledge and my skills that I've earned in Sea Cadets to help other people as well. I've used it in school, outside of school, with friendships, with my own parents, so it's helped me a lot in life.
Is there a specific school you're planning on going to for your degree?
So first, I am currently enrolled in the fall semester for Los Medanos Community College, specifically part-time online, and then in Brentwood as well. I'm going to be doing that 2 years until I gain my associates. Then I'm going to transfer to Cal State East Bay for about 1 or 2 years to gain my bachelor's.
And then from there, Coast Guard is your
Yeah.
plan.
And then from there, I think I'm gonna do Coast Guard for about 4 years, just the minimum.
And then move on to law enforcement.
So before law enforcement, I might want to be an EMT for a couple years just to gain the medical experience. I honestly think a lot of people should be an EMT before they're in law enforcement because, not just dealing with people, but the medical aspect. There's a lot of people that need medical attention, so it's important to have that awareness and know truly how to deal with that.
I mean, that's a very detailed plan, especially for an 18-year-old. How is it that you came with that plan together?
So, like I said, I gained multiple experiences from officers around me. I would say those Sea Cadet officers and the police officers, they're the ones that helped me tie those plans together. I know for my Master at Arms training that I staffed recently, my OIC officer in charge, after graduation, he and I sat down and we discussed for about 30 minutes to fully make a fully detailed plan and organized plan as well. So he helped me a lot with that too.
And how does the Coast Guard tie in with the law enforcement?
So out of all the branches, the Coast Guard is the number one when it comes to Master at Arms and law enforcement. The second is the Navy. I was going to join the Navy, but I think the Coast Guard suits what I want to do better. And again, that OIC, the officer in charge, he helped me realize that too.
Is there like a position in the Coast Guard that really ties in with that you're hoping to get once you join the Coast Guard?
So I don't remember what the actual acronym for it is, but like I said, SRT. He helped me with that, and he said, hey, being an SRT in the Coast Guard would help you gain that Master at Arms and law enforcement knowledge the most out of all the other positions there are.